Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Captain America issues 111 to 113, where the creative team would be Stan Lee and Jim Steranko. Now, before we get into the story arc, I do have to make a correction on my previous video that I did in Captain America, where I talked about issue 110, and I thought it was illustrated by Jack Kirby, and actually in the compilation that I have, Kirby's credited there. But then I double checked, and it seems that that was the first issue that Jim Steranko did for Captain America. And he tried to mimic Kirby's style at first, because in the same compilation, the issues that we're going to cover, they credit Stan Lee and Jack Kirby for these issues. And the art here is apparently Jim Steranko's. Now, I love Jack Kirby's work. I think he's the greatest of all time. But personally, I feel that Steranko's work was on another level. There are some moments where these issues get very artsy. You get some fantastic money shots. And also, I feel that Steranko is really leaning on Kirby's legacy. Now, that aside, let's get into the story. So things pick up with Viper, Madam Hydra. She wants to take vengeance on Captain America because in the previous issue, he had thwarted her plans. And she's pretty hardcore. Seemingly, she's executed all the Hydra agents that had failed her. Also, in these issues, we get a very vague origin to Viper too. That her family were killed during a very vaguely referenced revolution. She was able to survive, but that's where she got all the scars that she has on her face that she covers with her hair. The thing is that they know Captain America's secret identity as Steve Rogers, so she's sending agents after him in broad daylight. So what happens is, first we have Cap defeating a group of Hydra agents that attack him at an arcade. The story cuts to Steve trying to train Bucky. It's pretty hilarious because the new Bucky is Rick Jones, and Cap is showing him all these new acrobatic moves that he needs to know if he's going to be his sidekick to be able to evade bullets and stuff like that. And Rick Jones is like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. So what happens is someone knocks at the door. Bucky goes to check. He sees an envelope go under the door. He opens up the envelope. It's filled with toxic gas, and Steranko does some really fantastic artwork to show off that Bucky might have died. The thing is that this gas just knocks him out. Two Hydra agents open the door, and they're like, fuck, it's not Captain America, it's the stupid sidekick. So the thing is, they decide to kidnap him. So what happens is Captain America, obviously very sensitive over the fact that Bucky's life is at risk here, starts going around New York City beating the crap out of anyone that can be tied to Hydra. So what ends up happening is that we get a moment where Cap is fighting against this Hydra droid in this building. It's next to a pier. The building itself is completely surrounded by Hydra agents. The thing is that Steve Rogers tries to make an escape. He jumps out the window, tries to dive into the water. Every agent there starts shooting at Cap, and what happens is apparently Cap was killed. They find his costume totally riddled with bullets, and they also find a Steve Rogers face mask. So this issue sort of puts into question if Captain America is actually Steve Rogers in the first place. Also, one thing I do have to mention is that during this time, Captain America had like this really weird ability with using costumes and masks and stuff like that, to the point that I feel like he could give Chameleon a run for his money. So now everyone thinks that Captain America is dead. So issue 112 takes advantage of the situation. It's a filler issue, but the idea is to go over all of Captain America's greatest adventures. Also, all the art to this issue is Jack Kirby's. I'm pretty sure that they're reusing old art of his. So in issue 113, we get the funeral of Captain America. The Avengers are devastated with what had happened. So we have Viper that doesn't want to waste any time. She wants to defeat all the rest of the Avengers. She attacks the funeral with the same poison gas that she used on Bucky, knocking out all the Avengers in one foul swoop. So she very easily defeats Earth's mightiest heroes. Each character gets thrown into a coffin, and the idea is that she's going to bury all the Avengers alive. So the story cuts to the cemetery. We have the Hydra agents digging the graves. When out of nowhere, bam, 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 Captain America's back. He's alive. He had faked his death, and we get some fantastic action scenes by Steranko. There's some very emblematic Captain America moments on these pages. So obviously Captain America was able to defeat Hydra, and also Madam Hydra seemingly has been killed. Now the really interesting thing is that Captain America faked his death and planted that Steve Rogers mask so everyone would think that Captain America is not Steve Rogers, that he's someone else. Because his secret identity had sort of become common knowledge. That's how the Hydra agents were able to attack him back in the arcade. That's how they found his house. So letting everyone think that he was dead gave him a clean slate. So this story has a certain level of sophistication to it. Obviously very comic booky, but the thing is that even though the story is credited to Stan Lee, I'm pretty sure that Jim Steranko wrote it because it doesn't feel like a Stan Lee story. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.